Well, happy Wednesday. Hey, you got Brian and Tisha White here hanging out to talk to you about solar today because we are solar curious and you may be too. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Tisha, hi.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
We're saying hi from the same house. We're in different rooms though, so we're hanging out together, but not actually together. So it's weird.
Yes, it is a little weird, but it works. This is the way we communicate in 2023.
We can have family meetings via Zoom. It's perfect. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
smart.
So we're gonna have we'll have quite a few people joining. We'll wait just one more second. We're talking about solar today, and we're getting a ton of questions about it. Because we got a ton of questions, we've gone and done some research to answer some questions and be able to bring that back to our be able to bring that back to our clients. So we'll get started here in a second and walk you all the way through it.
Right? I mean, when you are in real estate, you do get a lot of questions about solar, and it definitely piques the curiosity, and everyone's curiosity is piqued about it right now.
Hey, and if you're hanging out in the audience, just the way that we're streaming right now, we don't get to see all the Facebook comments and everything. So see who's joining. So if you are joining, then raise your hand, let us know that you're here. Give us a wave. Give us a hey, what's up? Andre, thank you for the what's up. Glad you're here.
Yeah.
This is going to make this fun. So we'll have a little fun with everybody today. So the show today it's called Solar Curious. We have been solar curious for about a year now, maybe longer. Lots of reasons. Tisha's brother, my brother-in-law, is an electrical engineer out in California, and they're all about solar in California. So he's been giving us the tips and the inside and the tons of stuff for a while, and it's just created a lot of interest. So we're excited to share this today.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that always makes me curious is the budget. So why not?
Budget's a thing.
So we'll talk about that a little bit more too.
Budget's a thing for sure. So why don't we? We're a couple of minutes in now. Is a great time. So why don't we go ahead and get started? Like I said, this show, this live today is called Solar Curious. Lots of people are curious about what's going on with solar. Should they go solar? What are the things they need to be aware of in terms of going solar? So we're going to dive into a lot of those questions, a lot of the frequently asked questions, the questions that our clients have been asking us, because hopefully by now we run a residential real estate team in North Texas, and we get a lot of questions. So as we dive into this, let's just talk about how do we get started? How do we get started in this journey?
Oh man, how did we get started in this journey? Where do we start? Uh-oh. Did you freeze?
I'm here. Go ahead and start.
Well, it really did start with for me, I mean, it's really a matter of, looking at our bills. I'm the one who pays our monthly bills, our regular bills on a regular basis. And I mean, for a good while, those bills have been going up, right? Yeah. And so that has piqued our interest. That's piqued a lot of people's interest. Like Brian said, my brother's out in California, and he's an engineer out there. And, when they build new build houses out there, they put solar on every new build that they're building. And so there's so much out in California. And then you just don't see a ton of it in Texas. So you think, well, it just maybe doesn't make sense here. So, but that what piqued our interest a couple of years ago. So that just kind of started getting us looking at it. And
we built a house, in 14 was our last fully custom construction home. And we looked at it, and at the time the math didn't work, honestly. We could, some of the subsidies that are out there right now didn't work. So it didn't make a lot of sense. But then we started getting in the last year questions from clients and people asking, okay, what should we do? What does it do for our home costs? Or what are the things that we need to be aware of? And, honestly, we didn't have the answers. So we had to go figure those answers out for our clients. So,
and a couple of things happened in Texas. We had Snowmageddon.
Yep.
Which was just shocking. And, there was no power and
Having no power was bad. That was shocking.
yeah. And since then, rates have just gone up. I mean, the bills just keep going up. You have no control over it. I mean, there have been literally people who have been like, I'm going to have to sell my house because my electric bill has gone up so high. Like, that's not good. That's not good. No one wants that. And then, obviously green energy is just trending. I mean, we're seeing a huge push towards electric vehicles. I want one.
You do. That is that is a thing. If I could figure out a way to get that on the screen, Tisha wants an electric vehicle. That I need to put that in a title.
I just don't want to wait 2 years and order one, but
Well, and then it is trending, and we're seeing the numbers grow, right? So I think you shared with me earlier. There's through 2022, there were roughly 3.5, maybe 4 million solar on $3.5 to $4 million homes across the U.S.
Wait, you said that's so confusing. Let me clarify. Let me just say that a little more. Okay. There's 130 million homes in the United States, approximately. 90 million of them qualify for solar. Out of those 90 million, only about 3.5 million, maybe that's going a little closer to 4 million, have solar systems installed. And about 1 million of those, they say, are in California.
Yeah, and I think so. In terms of the numbers increasing, I think you said that we're expecting roughly that many to be installed this year. Is that right? So about another 4 million in 2023.
Mm-hmm. In a lot of my research and what's going on, and yeah, I mean, so it's people are getting more than curious. We've been curious, and now they're getting like jumping into action and getting solar.
So we started this research, and what we figured out is, man, there's just a massive amount of confusion. So first, as we're trying to get clarity, we're finding confusion. Mm-hmm. There are companies that are out there that some of them are great, some of them are not. A lot like roofers. Some of them are great, some of them are not. So you need to be really, really careful in terms of who you're working with. The other thing we figured out is there's just like a ridiculous opportunity to save money. People are saving somewhere between 10 to 50% per month on their electric bills. That's after they've paid for solar, right? So they're literally reducing their out of pocket spend 10 to 50%, like nearly in half in some cases. Mm-hmm. So pretty great opportunity. And then,
the other thing is that, Brian mentioned that confusion, but a lot of times people are just making their decision on solar based on what their friend told them, mm-hmm. or what they heard, or I heard it was bad. I heard it wasn't good in Texas, and not actually digging into the research, which I think we've done that too. So we decided to dig deeper into that research.
We have absolutely done that in the past. So, and what we discovered, we actually found, because we were looking, right? We found an amazing company that does the right things for the right reasons in the right way. And they've got access to a lot of products. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and really make sure that we answer the questions that we know people are asking. So, so the company, and we don't have I don't have a screen share or anything to show you. The company is called Power, and it's the fastest growing solar company out there. It's been on the Inc. 5000 list. They're a certified B company. Which, for those of you that don't know, a certified B company is it is certified, it has to meet certain standards to benefit the world, right? So it is a generous, environmentally friendly company that's here to mm-hmm. Serve and give back. You guys know our mission statement is give, serve, love. Well, that aligns totally with this particular company.
Well, and you could describe them as a solar company, but actually they are they're a company designed to be a platform for green energy. And the particular product that is, like we just talked about, booming in the area or in the United States right now is solar. So that's the product that they're focusing on right now. And so, yeah, I mean, we saw this, we saw their model, we talked to the people there and said, this is this is really, this is it. This is a big deal. They have a huge heart and passion for the world to get greener and have green energy, to have a better environment for our kids and their kids and their kids.
I love it, and I love what they're doing. So let's talk. Let's just answer some of the questions that we know people are asking, and really the first question that we know people are asking is, does our house qualify for solar, and how do we know? Like, how do we know that?
So, and this is where a lot of people just kind of be like, well, just doesn't make sense for us, and then they just don't actually dig in to find out. And the process is not incredibly difficult to find out, but like I said, there's 130 million homes, only about 90 million qualify for. So it's super important to know your house doesn't always qualify for solar, but there's a very easy way to find out. All you do is have to submit a full electric bill. Our team analyzes that bill and analyzes your roof and said, look, does solar make sense for you? Then we walk through a plan and see if it makes sense for you. If it does, awesome. If it doesn't, great. It doesn't make sense for everyone. But you should explore it actually for yourself and not just listen to what a friend said.
Yeah, that is really good, because just look at it for yourself. The thing is, if it doesn't cost anything, then there's no reason not to do it. So I dropped a link below. It really is as simple as just get your solarestimate.com and submit your stuff, and they'll tell you whether or not it makes sense. Your house may qualify, it may not. It may make financial sense for you, it may not. There's no harm in figuring that out. So the second question that people give us is, hey, what does that cost? Like, what does it cost to get solar?
Yeah, that's like asking, what does a house cost? I mean, I don't know. I mean, well, what's your budget? Like, what size of house do you want? You know, so there's so many things that go into solar, and so you really, again, you don't know until you really explore the options, because there's a lot of different things you could do with solar. And it really depends on what your energy costs. How much energy are you using in your house on a day-to-day basis? You can have the same size of house as a neighbor next door, and they might need twice as much solar because they have 6 people living in the house and you have 2 people living in the house. So there's really no way to give you an estimate on how much it costs until you submit that bill and walk through the process and figure out what does that cost. So there are, one of the things that we absolutely loved about working with the company Power that we work with is we have a lot of financing options as well. So that's another factor that goes into cost. Are you going to finance it? Are you going to pay cash for it? Are you going to lease it? There's a lot of different options that you could walk through, and you really want to work with a company that has a lot of different options that aren't just pushing a solution down your throat that doesn't necessarily make sense for you.
Yeah, that's really good. And one of the things that's amazing about solar as a platform company is they don't just have one set of products or one company's products, as they do have options, and they do have ways of shopping your solution to multiple companies to figure out what's going to be the best fit for you and the best cost. So I was diving in, and we're still learning, right? And I was diving in today, and they were sharing some details about what they've done recently to save cost for every single client going forward in 2023. That's this year. I'm having a hard time saying that. 2023. We're in this year. So they're shaving costs for every single install, because the more volume that we do, the more cost savings there are to apply. So there really is, there's always benefits to scale, and as we get larger and larger, there's more savings for our clients. So that was pretty.
And if you really if you really Google, should I go solar? There's a lot of really popular and positive opinions on why you should go solar, and people don't always save money right away, but the amount of money that you could save throughout the years of having this product on your house it's pretty shocking, honestly. So that's where you got to look at the bigger picture of it as well.
Well, it's often thousands of dollars the first year in savings. And then when they scale it out, because what happens is so often we assume that energy costs are going to stay the same. So when we think in our head, oh, we're going to save this much per month today, well, and that's attractive savings. But how much has your energy bill gone up in the last 2 to 3 years?
You know what, Brian? There's some national numbers that energy costs have gone up 30%.
Whoa.
30%.
Yeah.
That's a massive number. And so in an economy right now where everything is going up in cost,
Yep.
to do something for, your family, your household that actually helps start saving you money right now, it's just another reason why people are jumping on board to solar right now.
Well, and this is a great analogy because we're realtors, so I'm going to use a real estate analogy. And
surprise.
Yeah, surprise. So it's the difference in getting solar, which we're in the process of doing on our own home. So if you haven't followed, if we haven't said that, so we're in that process. It's the difference in renting and owning your electricity. So when we start off, you rent a house. Well, what happens when you rent a house? Well, you're paying someone else's equity. You're paying their tax bill. You're paying for appreciation that they're able to enjoy. Your expenses can go up every month, but their expenses stay relatively fixed, which those are all the reasons why it makes sense to buy a home. Well, the same holds true for solar, right? If right now, all of us are renting our electricity, we're going to pay whatever the utility company wants us to pay. We really don't even get a vote, right? We're using that same utility company. Well, when you go solar, you can actually purchase. You're literally purchasing your electricity. You're owning it. So you know what your costs are. You've got your same payment every month. It's going to be the same payment for the life of your loan, and you're going to get X amount of power for that period of time. So it's the analogy. It's like owning your power, just like you own your home.
That's really good. That's a good analogy. I always like learning from Brian White. He teaches me good things. So, okay. Yes, this is it. This is the question. This is the one where we kind of jumped into this because obviously, this question matters to us more than anything. Like, what happens when I sell my home? That part seems scary.
Well, it can be scary, and it's something that you need to make sure that you're working with somebody who knows what they're talking about, first of all. And it also speaks to one of the reasons that solar got a bad rap and some things that are changing is for so many years, people were leasing their solar gear, right? And there was a particular way of doing that. Well, when if you lease versus purchase your solar equipment, then whoever's buying your home, they have to assume your lease, or you have to buy the whole thing out, right? Mm-hmm. So either it's expensive because you have to buy it out, or it's maybe a deterrent for whoever is buying your home. Maybe it's attractive, maybe it's a deterrent. Well, what's happened now is we're seeing people either pay cash or finance it. And because it's a financed asset, because it has value, then it transitions with the home. So it will sell, the new owner becomes the new owner. Their purchase ends up becoming part of their payment, and then they own their power. What's really interesting is because we list homes, and one of the primary questions we get, even when we're working with buyers or sellers, but one of the primary questions we get is, "Hey, can you share the utility bill?"
Right.
Sure.
Yes, we get that asked all the time in Texas, and you have to say, "Can you share the July and August utility bill?"
That's right.
Because it's not fair if you just share the December one.
Totally right. So people ask, and it can be a deterrent, right? So in Texas, when you get your, particularly for older homes, you get $700, $800, $1,000 bills. We talked to somebody last week who had an $1,800 utility bill.
$1,800 for real.
$1,800 for real. So do you think that's attractive to someone buying your home? No. So if you can show them your utility bill is zero, well, that's pretty cool. So that actually helps the sale of your home. So the Department of Energy has come out. Actually, believe it or not, Zillow has come out with data talking about that solar increases the value of a home. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it depends on how low is your utility bill, how much did you spend on the solar gear. but totally sellable, not even a deterrent. It may very well be a benefit
Yeah.
when you're
And
ready to
you
sell.
need to work with a realtor who's actually familiar with solar because, again, in Texas, we don't see a ton of it yet. Actually, I think Texas is the third fastest growing state in terms of solar installs. And so, which isn't a surprise. I mean, it's sunny here most of the time. I mean, we're actually positioned brilliantly for solar, but you really can when you're getting solar on your house. Well, now I forgot what I was going to say, Brian. What was I just saying? I got all distracted on the it's so sunny in Texas. I lost my train of thought.
I don't know where you were going with that.
I don't know.
We can come back.
Yes, I know. So we'll come back to that. I'm sure it'll pop back into my head. I like I said, I got distracted with sunshine.
I'll just do a brief recap of where we're at. So we're talking about solar. The show's called Solar Curious because we're getting so many questions about solar. We really, over the last year, have dug in and done a ton of research on solar, and so much so that we found an amazing company that does just brilliant, high quality work, does the right things for the right reasons. So we decided to sell it. We decided to bring that to market to our clients and to our area. So one of the biggest questions that we get, and we'll answer a few more, is does my house qualify? Many do, not all of them do. So if you're curious if your house qualifies, if you're curious what it would look like for you, there's a really easy way to do that. We've got a website, as you can imagine. It's called getyoursolarestimate.com. There's no cost for that. So really what we need is a utility bill. So with that, we can really dive in and tell you what the benefit to you might be, what your savings might be. And, if it's not for you, no harm, no foul, but at least you're armed with the information on what that might be. Mm-hmm. So that's what the show today is all about. It's all about.
So we were talking about, how much does it cost? Was that our last question?
It is, yeah. And, actually, the last question was, what happens when I sell my home?
What happens when I sell it? Okay, so this actually really is important. It's the warranty that's so important. Mm. Because
it's a big deal.
Yeah, this is a big deal. So, sometimes you could go to sell your house and it can make a lot of sense with solar on it. But if you bought a product that doesn't have a great warranty on it, which is part of the, we're talking about part of the solar industry and why it hasn't grown as fast as it has. They've been, pushing products. So here's what we have. This is the warranty. You need to make sure you have an extensive warranty on your solar system. If you live in your house for about 10 years, it's a lot of times when people pay off their solar. Yay, we love that because your bill does go to zero. But if your warranty wears out after 10 years and you go to sell the house and you're selling an unwarranted product, that can be a little trickier. So our products do have a 30-year warranty, which is the best in the industry. And that really matters when you're buying that house, because that's going to be a huge issue when you go to sell it.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when we're, the things that buyers look for, they look for foundation warranties to transfer, roof warranties to transfer, all of those sorts of things. Well, same goes for solar, and you need to make sure that you've got a lengthy warranty, and that's something that can transfer. So the other question we get a lot is, hey, do I get money from the utility? How do I get paid? Like, do I get money from the utility company when I produce too much power?
Yeah, which, this is a kind of a tricky question. Again, this is one that it's like we can answer all these questions with the simple submission of the bill, but it depends on what utility company you're using. So our particular utility company that we're using does not pay you back for any extra. And so it's so important in that you know that in advance so that you design your system to where you're not producing extra energy. So that may give you a bill. You may still have a bill from that solar or from the utility company on a monthly basis, but you're not giving them extra power that then they're using and not giving back to you or selling back to you. Other companies Other companies actually, if you overproduce, you get a credit for that. So it really depends. And this is why, like solar, salespeople can't just answer these questions off the top of their head because it depends on where you live and what utility district you're in. What do you have to add to that, Brian?
No, I think that's great. So it's awesome if we can get to a point where everybody, when we're producing extra power, can get paid back. But what you can do, if it's interesting to you, is you can get batteries, right? So you can actually store. So traditionally, solar produces power, and that power gets consumed. Well, you can store up extra power. So in the chance of solar outages, cloudy days for extended periods of time, any number of reasons why you might want stored power. So you can get batteries to back that up. Lots of ways that you can handle that. So if again, just one last plug. If you're curious about what how to get how are you qualified, what does it cost, all that sort of stuff, then just get a free estimate. Super easy.
Yeah, and that it's important to know you don't have to buy a battery. That's
Totally.
not something you have to have. And so that is something you need to, if someone's just pushing that down your throat, that's a red flag. You don't have to buy that. And so you can work with your solar professional to make sure that you're getting the solar system that fits your needs. So, and a pool and an electric car have, those change the dynamics of things as well.
So what you're saying is, if you use more power, then you need to design it to produce more power. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And that is what. So I'm teasing because when you use more power, right? So the folks that are running up that $1,800 bill, well, they've got a business at home that's consuming a lot of power. Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. If you've got kids that are mining Bitcoin in the basement, then okay, well that's going to use a lot more power. Hopefully you're getting the payday from that, but either way you can save money.
You know what? That is a huge power sucker.
It is a power sucker.
You got to get your solar just to pay for that. That would be amazing. You can double it up.
So if you are solar curious, like we are, we've been on this journey to learn more about solar and really to get a plan in place for how we help our clients. That's what the show has been all about. So you can hit the link that we shared before. You can call us, email us, send a carrier pigeon. We don't care. We'll just be happy to help and answer your questions about solar, about real estate, about Jesus. You want to talk about Jesus? We'll talk about that too. So thank you guys for joining us. Any parting thoughts, Tisha?
Nope. I just hope you guys all have an awesome Wednesday. And like Brian said, let us know if there's anything real estate, solar, Jesus, anything like that you want to talk about, then we're here for you guys.